Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and guys, I want to thank you so much for all you've been doing, supporting, and helping build this channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave comments as it really helps this channel out, and hopefully I can really get this even doing better, and of course making better content that you enjoy. Now, today I really want to thank Mechlands for sending me out their Vibe75. So last time they sent me out their Vibe99, which was a full-size keyboard. This time it's a 75. So let's take a look and do an unboxing and see how great it is. So starting off with the unboxing of the Mechlands Vibe75. Now, this is going to be the 75% keyboard. It's the 75% version of their Vibe, and they also have a full size, which is the Vibe99. Now, as you can see, everything comes in the box just with a braided cable, very simple, small manual, switch puller and keycap puller. No extra switches, unfortunately. And you also have this extra module, which is going to be the knob. So you can actually replace the screen with the knob. Now, depending on what you like, or if you want to change around or what you need, they are giving you the option to be able to change it. Now, you also have those switches on the top, which can change from Windows to Mac, the wireless modes, and of course the metal weight on the bottom, which is really nice to have on a plastic keyboard. And of course, as you can see, the angles that you can change, depending on what kind of angle you want. Now, of course, we're gonna have to weigh this board before we go into the sound test. So let's see how heavy this thing is. It is pretty light, but does feel pretty hefty for a plastic board. It weighs about 915 grams. Let's do a sound test. So now that the sound tests are all done, of course we're going to have to do a teardown of this board. I'm going to be trying out this new angle. Please let me know in the comments if you guys think this is much better. It's something new I'm trying. Of course, every time I really want to improve my videos, so hopefully I really can do something more. Now, as you can see, there are screws on the bottom and 2 on the top, so total 4, and 2 on the bottom, so 6 screws in total. This is to remove the metal out around the sides, so you're gonna have to remove that to be able to actually open up this board. Now, it's a plastic board. It is quite tough to do. You're gonna need the specific tool to do this, and of course, putting this back together is gonna be really important as well. Now, those knobs that you're gonna be using, like to switch from USB modes to Bluetooth and the Windows, you're gonna have to really be careful when you are playing around with that. So let's get this thing fully open. I was looking at this trying to see what is necessary to open this. It is definitely tough. There's very little seam to actually get this open. As you can see here, I'm grabbing a tool to do so. And even then, I'm really trying to get into there to see if there's any latches that I can undo. Now, the backside I noticed was a little bit easier, so try to get the things that are much easier to remove first if you're gonna be modding yours and if you have a Vibe. Now, this is definitely really tough. Like, as you can see here, I slipped because it was so tough to pry open, and there's very little seams available. I would honestly maybe not suggest actually opening it up. Being honest with you, it's so tough, and the chances of breaking something is much higher. Also, don't do what I did. Remove that LCD screen before you do this, because I did it before, and that was not a good idea. It actually flew out. Now, luckily, I was able to get everything out, and I think I actually ended up breaking that screen while doing that. Now it actually doesn't work anymore afterwards. So now let's look a look to see how this keyboard was built. All right, we're gonna see that it has the foam in between, right, and it has this nice silicone sock just for the plate itself. It is a plate-mounted keyboard, right? So it is a gasket-mounted keyboard. So it has the silicone socks and a not so great foam for the bottom of the PCB, but it's okay. It is fully taped on though, and you get a silicone on the bottom. Also, it comes with a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is not bad, right? For a wired board, 4,000 milliamp hours is more than enough. And as you can see there though, it looks like there was space for 2 batteries. So if you somehow are able to find an exact same one, you could technically, I guess, upgrade it because it still has this pins to be able to attach another battery. So we're going to change the angle to see how we can mod this board. So as I could see, sorry about the shaking on the screen there. Now I see that there is room to modify this board. Like, it actually has quite a bit of room on the bottom. So I'm going to use my regular sound dampener that I normally use, which is the car insulation, and put that in. One thing I love about it, again, is that I can just cut it up, work around with it, fill in the spaces that's necessary. So fill this up, put in the silicone, put this whole keyboard back together. Now, key thing when you're putting this back together, again, make sure you be careful with the switches for the wireless and switching modes from Windows to Mac, because last time I did it with the Vibe99, I broke it. And you know what? This time as well, I broke it. That's how dumb I am, guys. That's how dumb I am. That's how bad I am with my hands. I broke it again. And yeah, it's not great. So now it only works wired, and unfortunately, I have it completely broke. And again, you have to also put those knobs first. I would suggest putting it actually not in there. So that's how I broke it. You should actually just put it inside the keyboard and then put the metal ring around after. Don't do what I did, guys. This is a lesson. Don't do what I did, because you will break something. And guess what? I broke 2 things on this board: the screen and the switch. So, of course, you're going to have to put the screws back in, and then I will show you, of course, one more little modification that I did to this board. So, one last thing I did for this board, that is fix the spacebar. Spacebar is a bit hollow sounding. That's what I noticed with the Vibe99. Same case here. So I'm going to use a little bit of the sound dampener, add it into the spacebar, and then fix it and give you guys a little bit of a sound test of the spacebar. And then we're going to go into the sound test of the full modded board. So now that we've done the modded test and everything, we should now see what my thoughts are on this keyboard. But first of all, let's take a look at the switch, which we've looked at before with $5.99, but this is Mechlands mid switch. This is directly from Mechlands, and I don't think right now it's being sold separately. It might change in the future, who knows. This switch I think sounds really great though. Like it is a well done switch. I think it sounds really good. As you can see there, sounds really nice for a board, and I think the stem wobble not too bad either. Like you can see there, it's not crazy. I have seen worse. To be honest, the Uchi Studio Mirandis are a little bit worse in terms of the stem wobble like that. Yeah, be careful again, guys, with that switch. I broke it. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's just bad. I'm just bad at this. I really should be more careful, but I'm the type of personality that likes to just get it done, and I ended up breaking it. So please be careful when you work on yours. You really need to be careful. Put in that knob in the keyboard, not the metal round ring, before you put it in. Now, yeah, I would say like the Vibe99 sounds really good, right? It's really cool. It has this LCD screen that you can switch out easily, right? It's a module. Pull it out, and then you can put it in the volume knob and play around with it yourself. Be aware though that to update stuff on the screen, you can actually use function keys, except for the time. You can actually change the date and time with just the function keys. Unfortunately, I can't really show you the screen because I broke it. It's actually broken because, again, I should have removed the screen before I opened the keyboard. It ended up ruining it when I actually didn't do that. I don't know what went wrong. I have to take a look to see what's wrong with it. So be careful of these things, right? These things are fragile stuff. Like at the end of the day, everything that we're working with is quite fragile. But yeah, these are things that you're just gonna have to be really careful for. So I really think though that this keyboard is quite interesting. I mean, if you're looking for something that is around the $70 mark, and you're good with the plastic, because again, I find plastic does give you a bit of a deeper sound compared to, say, an aluminum board, which again, metal is pingy, right? This is not too bad, right? It has this nice spot for the USB dongle, I think, which is really awesome, right? Like that's a very smart idea to use that space for USB dongle, and it sounds really good. Like it really does sound very good. The board itself is pretty well made. I think the design on the ring, the metal ring part, is not that great, to be honest. I don't like that splash art on the back. I think it would have just been nicer if it was something a bit more clean or a different color, actually. But yeah, like this board feels solid. It feels solid for a plastic board, but I think it's a little bit on the pricier side. But let me just show you guys the software as well. It's honestly just a reskin of the Fecker software. It's just a reskin. It has Mechlands logo on it. It shows the Vibe75. I believe this one does not actually work with the Vibe99. You're going to have to get a separate one for it, specifically for that. Now, it does have different profiles. I want to show you guys exactly where to find it. It's not easy to find on Mechlands' website. So you're going to have to go on Mechlands' site, scroll to the bottom, software, and then search Vibe. Because if you don't, it's really hard to find. So you can check out the manual online if you lose it, or you can download the driver. It is a okay software. It's very simplistic. I've actually commented on the software before for Fecker products, which is it's super plain, and it feels like it's actually from the early 2000s. It's very simple, and it works. But again, I think it just feels like it's an old software. Simple stuff. You can change the top layer, the function layer. You can change the lighting, and even has a little section for the LCD screen. You can make updates to there. And yeah, I mean, it's just a very simple software. I don't think that's anything crazy special, but at least you do get a software. I think maybe via support as well would have just been really nice for this one. So one thing also I want to show you guys is using the keyboard inspector. Is it at 1000 polling rate? And let's do the test. And yes, it is. So you get 1000 hertz polling rate for this board. So in terms of a gaming keyboard, this works pretty well. I actually did use it gaming. I found that it reacts really well too. You don't have like lag or anything when you're actually playing games. In terms of, say, the price, again, it's $79.99 regularly. At the time of this video that I'm actually recording, which is November the 8th that I'm doing the voiceover, it's $71.99. It does have the cool feature, right, with the screen, changing the knob. I find that plastic boards are a little bit harder to say if a certain price is worth it, because everything comes with price differences, right? Like, if someone was asking me what's my favorite 75% keyboard, mine was the Zoom 75, which is full aluminum case, and then regular keycaps, of course, but that was like 200 USD. And then there was the MonGeek M1V3, which is only wired, which the base, like bare bone kit, like no switches, no keycaps, starts at $70, right? And then if you get keycaps and switches, you're probably actually looking closer to 100 USD. And then if you look at their tri-mode one, that one also comes at like 100 USD, right? And that's like the bare bone kit usually is like 95, and then it goes up. So for a plastic board that sounds like this good, feels solid, has a metal ring, and a nice weight on the bottom, it's not bad, right? For $72 USD, it's not a bad deal, especially the fact is it does Thock, and I think it sounds really, really good stock. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the Vibe75. I think it's a very, very budget. It's plastic keyboard, but budget, has a nice metal around side, and it sounds super thocky. So please take a look in the description below, and I'll have to catch you guys next time and check out the other videos I got.